So, MTS Algebra 1, homework 1.6, questions 15 through 21. If you were absent this week, well, you wouldn't be here right now, right? But if you were absent last week, you might want to look on MTS on YouTube. MTS, ALG1, homework 1.5, homework 1.8, homework 1.4, because we did them last week. And all you have to do is go online and copy what we did, just like you're doing today. Okay? Alright, so the first step here is we're going to do 15. And 15 wants us to solve for x. Okay? So I'm going to solve for x. That means I got to get this guy all alone. Alright? So all I want to do is get x by itself. Okay? So does anyone have a clue what I would start with? Yeah. So what do we start with? When we're solving, what do we use? Solving? Anybody? Solving? Close, yes. We're going to start with PEMDAS, right? If we can add or multiply, or first off, for parentheses, right? Exponents, multiplication, division from left to right. So, do you see any parentheses? No. Any exponents? Any multiplication, division that we can do? No. Any adding or subtracting? No. So, when we're solving, we should think of one thing. Segment. Okay? Segment. Whenever you solve, you use segment. Right, Sky? Not Sky. Right, Sky? Sky? Really? Right?
Sky.
Right? Skylar? Okay.
No, that's Skylar. I'm Skylar.
Okay. Skylar.
Yep, Skylar.
Right? But when we solve, Skylar, solve, we use, what do we use then? Segment.
Segment.
Segment. Yeah, very good. Skylar. Okay? Alright, so we're going to use segment every time. Subtraction, addition, we do the opposite of whatever's adding or subtracting or adding to the variable that we're trying to get by itself. So whatever's adding or subtracting to x, we want to do the opposite. So Zayla, what's adding or subtracting to the x?
Adding or subtracting to the x?
Yeah. Well, no, you're not too tired for this. I'm too tired for this.
Other hand.
I got 2 hours of sleep last night.
Hey, I get it. But what I'm trying to say is, this is video recording right now. I hope. Did I hit record?
Yeah. Me.
Perfect. Are we wasting our time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's not that hard. Look up here and tell me what's adding or subtracting to the x. Can anyone tell me? Monty, can you tell me? Because anytime I see you guys talking, I'm going to pick on you. So one clue is, close your mouth.
Why are you going to pick on me for?
Because I love you.
You're talking.
For one, and for two, you're talking.
I don't get picked on. Fun shit.
5. No, but good try. 5 is dividing into the x. Does anyone see an adding or subtracting symbol? The G. Very good. The G is subtracting, right? So what's the opposite of subtraction? Azela.
Adding.
Very good, Monty. Okay, so we're going to do the opposite. We're going to add G. Okay? We're just going to add G. When we do to one side, we do the other.
Can you quit talking, please? You're distracting me. Thank
I
you.
mean, if you're really paying attention, you would
I am paying attention. You're just distracting me.
Equals
Thank you for being considerate.
A plus G. Alright, so So now we added to both sides. Okay? So how do I get x alone? Is there anything else adding or subtracting? No. So we move to multiplication and division, right? Division, multiplication. Do we see anything dividing or multiplying the x? Dividing, right. How much or what is it? 5. So if it's x divided by 5, what's the opposite of that? Multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 5, right? Against the whole thing, yeah? And what do I do to one side? Got to do the other. To the whole thing, though, right? Not just put it in front of the a, because that wouldn't be correct. We have to put parentheses around everything and put the 5 in front of it. Okay? So these 5's cancel, and I get x is equal to 5 times the quantity of a plus g. Now, if they want us to simplify, right, then I'd have to, everybody on the block gets the paper, and I get x is equal to 5a plus 5g. Okay? Otherwise, I want that. Okay? So actually, either one is okay with me. And honestly, I'm going to give extra credit when you do this. Okay? Pretty simple. You get extra credit when you do that. Okay? Alright, next. 17. The Gauss equation. I was talking about this. Y equals mx plus b. This equation explains everything in linear algebra. So you've got to get used to this equation in here. Okay? Because this equation is going to be chapter 4 and on. And for the rest of your mathematical career here at this school, you'll be seeing this every single, almost day. Okay? From basically November on. Y equals mx plus b. I need to solve for x. I need to solve for x. That means this guy right there. Can anyone tell me what is adding or subtracting to the x? Carlos?
B.
B. And it's adding, right? So what's the opposite of that?
Subtraction.
So subtract it. Minus b, minus b.
Then I thought that was a 6.
No, that's a b. Y equals mx plus b. And it's in your book, and it's also right here. Where are we at? Number 17. Okay? So, okay. Alright. So, I'm subtracting a b. So I get y minus b is equal to mx. Right? So Zayla, what do I do next? Is it Melina? Olivia. Miranda. Alright, I gotta remember that name. Miranda, what do I do next? No, not adding. We're solving, that's for sure. Skylar, what are we doing next? No.
We divide
Oh yeah. What?
the thing,
By what?
the other thing.
No, not a thing by a thing. Come on, people. Really? So I gotta call your parents? That's what I gotta do? Because that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm just gonna have to stop, push pause, call your parents, and then have them watch this video to prove that I'm not tripping, that you're really being this way. Because that's why I'm doing this. Do you realize that, right? Okay? So, what am I dividing by? Monty, do you see it?
M and X.
Yes. I'm trying to get x alone. M's multiplying. So I'm going to divide, because that's the opposite of multiply, right? So I'm going to divide by m. But what I do to one side, I got to do the other. And I got to do it to the whole side, right? I can't just do it to one piece. I have to do it to everything. Okay, that's the key. All right? So these cancel, and I get x is equal to y minus b over m. And this is very confusing for students. Because there's no numbers, it's only letters. Okay? So I need your attention. I need you to try. I need you to focus. Because I can't help you if you don't want to be helped. Okay? Alright, next is number 19. I'm solving for t. Solving for t. This guy right there. Alright? And so, if there's anything adding or subtracting to t, we should get rid of it. Is there anything adding or subtracting to t? No. Well, that's perfect. Then I don't have to do anything for subtraction and addition. I go straight to division and multiplication. Is there anything multiplying or dividing into the t? What? The r. Yeah. And I can start with just dividing the r? Or do we see two things? N. Perfect. I could actually go to dividing this t, right, by n and the r, right, at the same time. Two birds with one stone. Okay? About what I do to one side? Got to do the other. The whole side, right? The whole other side. Everything. Does that make sense? Okay, so everything over there has to be divided by n and r. So I'm left with PV over NR is equal to T. I mean, if I give you this on the test, can you do this?
Yes.
Right? This isn't too bad, right? Once we get the hang of it. Okay? The last one. I don't think we can do this. I might have to help you. Alright? Because this one's harder than every one that we did so far. Okay? So I understand if you can't do this. Alright? So if you want to quit now, go ahead. Okay? But if somebody in here can tell me if we're solving for t, is there anything, and if there is something that adds or subtracts against t, what is it and what we should do?
R.
R. And what should we do?
And add it.
Okay? And just to one side or
Both.
both? Both. So then what would it look like over here? I really did not think you guys could do that. I actually knew you guys could do that. But the point was, right? The first time I said